Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of ZB's Horsepower Talk. As always, I'm ZB, Zach Brown, and joining with me, as always, is former 410 Sprint Car crew chief and mechanic, my dad, Jeff Brown. We have a couple drivers locked into the final round in NASCAR and Xfinity and the Cup Series, and we are boiling it down to the final couple weeks. In World of Outlaws, we'll be previewing NASCAR in the 305 down at Homestead, Miami this week. Should be another good race. The Las Vegas race actually was not that good of a race till the very end. We thought it was actually going to be a lot more competitive than it was. Christopher Bell really was the fastest car all day, but it's kind of a deja vu situation for him. Last year, he did the same situation, could not get it done, and strategy played out where, lo and behold, the guy that gets in because of a penalty to Alex Bowman wins the race, moves on to Phoenix, and we said, watch out for Joey Logano. We didn't pick him in our Final Four, but it was one of our honorable mentions to have, so now look out for Joey Logano to win this dang championship.
Yeah, that was a very Joey Logano-esque type win. Just does not surprise me that happened at all. It just seems like when there's strange situations, new tracks, things like that, he seems to be the one that comes out on top. Don't count him out now. He's got 3 weeks. They got 3 weeks to prepare, run simulators, everything else. So that's, he's definitely going to be one. He's
done it. He's done it before. At least one of his championships where he went on to win. He won the Las Vegas race, and then he had all this time to prepare for it. And Kyle Larson's done it where he won Las Vegas, and during his championship run, those extra couple weeks helps out tremendously. Now you can just focus on just going out there and trying to go for a win. Now, why not just throw put it all out on the line and see what happens at at Homestead and Martinsville. But now, especially Martinsville, you don't have to worry about that one at all. So you don't have to worry about getting a wreck, and you're in. Like that's big.
There still is reason to. The guys still want to run good because they can still get extra stage points, extra playoff point. I think that all resets again once you get to Phoenix. So. Every point counts. So at 1 point extra, you get a stage win in these next tracks. There's another championship point, and things like that. So they're still. It's not like they're not going to try this week. So
and now
maybe not put themselves in a situation where normally you might keep your foot on the gas and might back out of it on that one. But
now look at Joey possibly helping out his teammate Ryan Blaney to get into the Final Four. Now, I mean, a lot's got to happen with Blaney having terrible luck the whole weekend at Las Vegas. That was it started off bad, ended bad for him. Like it was, he had a fast car. It was working its way up the field, and he got caught up in a wreck, and then Tyler Reddick got caught up flipping. And it didn't actually look like it did a whole lot of damage from the outside, but obviously internally it broke a lot of stuff. So those drivers, that now all of a sudden they're fighting for almost a must-win at this point. Kyle Larson, he had a bunch of issues during the race, but with everybody crashing through this race and with their bad luck, he's able to still capitalize, get an 11th place finish. Likely, unless something really bad happens at Homestead, he's probably going to be heading to Phoenix as well. We talked about that. It looks like it's going to be Bell, and it looks like it's probably going to be Larson joining Joey Logano. Now, who's that other person that's going to be the wild card in all this? That's going to be the tricky thing. Is it going to be Denny Hamlin? Is Tyler Reddick going to get a win, which he very well could get a win here at Homestead? And that's all for grabs. It's kind of getting a little
exciting now.
Yeah, and you head to Martinsville, and if Denny Hamlin's on the outside looking in, and if there's already been drivers locked in, he could win Martinsville. He's good at all those Virginia tracks. So Martinsville's going to shape up to be a very interesting one. You better go all out, get a win here at Homestead, because Martinsville is the biggest crapshoot to head into Phoenix.
For sure. And now I'm not sure. I don't know if, say, Bell and Larson could lock themselves in this week. I mean, is it possible the Final Four could be locked in before they even get to the last race?
No, because they can't lock in all Final Four because somebody still has a chance to win. But
yeah, you're right.
Christopher Bell, I think, can get locked in this week on points, and if Larson builds enough points through stages. He's 29 points, 30 points. He's around the same that he came in at. He didn't really lose any points in this. And I think you have to have a cushion of around 50 points to a little over 50 points to be safe and pretty much locked in. Christopher Bell's got that right now, so he has a solid finish at Homestead. He's going to get locked in whether he wins it or not. And then now it comes down to who's going to be the other two in. That's where it gets a little bit crazy. But how about this as almost a feel-good story, very big fan favorite, AJ Allmendinger locking himself into the Final Four. I didn't expect him to go out and win Las Vegas. The car was really fast, and man, he was excited. And if you want to see somebody that's a really good fan favorite, a humble guy, he's always excited just to have the opportunity to race. AJ Allmendinger is one of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they had the overtime restart. I thought, okay, they're probably going to get him there, but he did everything he needed to do. Stayed out front. The car was fast. He ran good. Slightly bit surprising, he made it into the Final Four, but good for AJ. Yeah, everybody likes AJ Allmendinger.
Well, if anything that Las Vegas taught us anything is that you can expect the unexpected because the strategies were the way they played out, and it seems to be that way with Las Vegas. I don't know if it's because just kind of coincidental that you have to have a little bit of luck and gambling at Las Vegas at the track as well as the city. So it worked out for Logano. No one ever seems to run out of fuel these days.
They have all that telemetry. They know exactly how much fuel they got, how much they're saving.
They're pretty sharp when it comes down. And the Ford,
when they were doing it, I'm like, there's not one car going to run out. And he had plenty of fuel for a burnout and everything else. I'm like, it ain't even going to be close.
Bell was catching him, but his tires started getting worn out. He wasn't making up as much ground as the laps progressed. And unless there was a late race restart, which I was hoping to see, that would have been really insane. Bell wasn't going to be able to win. They had a solid finish, and he's just frustrated that it's exactly the way it happened last year. So
yeah,
we'll see. I think he went on to win Homestead last year as well, if I'm not mistaken, and then he locked himself in from that. I think. I can't quite remember last year if I just Google it, so could easily just do that. But let's give some updates on power rankings heading into Homestead. We've only got a couple more weeks of power rankings, so I have shifted this quite a bit now. There's a new number one for me, so let's start at number 5, build up the suspense because that's what I do. At number 5, I moved him down a little bit. I've got William Byron still in my top 5, probably going to have a solid finish at Homestead, barring any catastrophic craziness that happens. He'll have a fast car. Denny Hamlin's down to number 4. That's because I moved this guy up to number 3. I don't even think I had him in my power rankings last week, but he's locked in the Final Four. Joey Logano's number 3 now. And number 2, I moved down 1. Kyle Larson's at number 2. And number 1, probably now the fastest, most consistent guy the last couple races, Christopher Bell is my number 1 now.
Great minds think alike. We are exactly the same.
All of them?
Every single one.
Damn, that's well. If our picks are the same this week, that's going to be crazy. So Homestead is a little bit. We'll preview Homestead. So let's give that. Then we'll give the fantasy. So Homestead's a little bit of a different type of mile and a half. It's mile and like a third or something like that, if it's technical or.
Yeah, it's an actual oval, which I like. It's not the D-shaped tri-oval dog leg thing. So it's 2 straightaways and 2 corners. I mean, it's
And this was one of the first tracks for this type of mile and a half that they did progressive banking, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. And it's the surfaces wore out, the fastway's right up against the wall. That does make it for generally pretty exciting. So there's no room to slip up. You're going to see guys scuffing the wall, maybe scrubbing a little. Like they'll hit it, they don't really do much damage.
Now talk about the progressive banking for people that don't know what that exactly means.
So generally, they have it. They'll have, and in my mind, I don't know exactly how they have it laid out, but there's certain lanes. So I don't know the banking off the top of my head, but the bottom of the track where it's shorter is going to be less banking, and then in the middle of the track, a couple degrees more banking, and then at the very top, it's going to have the most banking. So it's kind of a graph going up. That way, they're trying to make it so the shorter way around you're going to have a little less grip. They're trying to make it equal to go. The guys that want to the balls are in around the outside have a little more bank to hold them up there, or if you want to, if your car's handling good, you can go the short way around. They're going to, I don't want to say penalize you a little bit, but they're trying to make it not have just one groove in the track.
Well, look at the drivers like Larson, Reddick, Bell to be at that wall right against it with maybe a piece of paper type thickness,
and
from
probably
them
almost right off the bat.
And they never smack it that often, unless Larson, he seems to do it a lot. But it's not like Darlington where you'll get your stripes every other lap. I don't know what it is, but they seem to. I wouldn't be able to do this, but the 160 miles an hour diving right into the outside, staying that full throttle the whole way. I don't know how it sticks, how they have the balls to do that. I would just stay at the bottom the whole time because that's a little nerve wracking. And it's going to Homestead is traditionally a pretty good race, even with the other generation. The finale race, the championship races at Homestead were always, in general, really, really good. They always played out to the last little bit. There was always late race cautions and late race restarts, and that's going to play a factor in this one. Now, this one isn't going to start in the evening where it ends under the lights. It's in the afternoon, so you'll still have the hot sun over it the entire day, so it'll be a hot, slick track. It's Miami. It's probably still about 90 down there, so that'll play a factor as well.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of like it when they have those transition races, and it makes them, the guys that they have to build some adjustability into their setups on the car because the track's going to change. So, yeah, it was 87 here today, so yeah, it's probably in the low 90s down there. Humidity may not be quite so bad, so it'll be a little easier on the drivers inside the car. Still going to be hot, Pit road's still going to be key. That was where Larson had the worst luck. They had a wheel, they dropped the jack too soon, couldn't get a wheel tight, had to come back in a couple times. Did manage to get both of his laps back and still made a good finish. So
yeah,
but it's normal. You can't have pit road mistakes like that and expect to get into the final four now probably.
Exactly. Well, let's give our fantasy lineup and see how wrong we can be. I won last week. I had no idea I won. Everybody seemed to wreck on mine, and I didn't realize I won. I'm still ridiculously behind, but damn, I guess I did something right. So go ahead and give your lineup. I'm going to shift this over to the screen so everybody can see. You go over your fantasy lineup for Homestead, Miami.
Okay, I had to move some drivers around. I don't want to use them all up before we get to the end here, so this week I have Chris Buescher, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, Alex Bowman, Martin Truex Jr., which that guy is due to have a good run at least. In my garage I have Tyler Reddick. So in the featured matchups, these are tricky this week. Kyle Larson versus William Byron. I just threw a Hail Mary there, so I went with William Byron on this one, trying not to jinx Larson. Tyler Reddick versus Christopher Bell. That's another close one. Tyler Reddick, like you said, is almost in a must-win. Christopher Bell's been the fastest car the last few weeks. I got Christopher Bell. Ryan Blaney and Truex. Smart money says probably Ryan Blaney, but, like I said, I got Truex in my lineup. Need him to do good for me, so I got Truex. And Denny Hamlin versus Chase Elliott. There's two more that are probably close to a must-win on this one, if not a must-win, these next 2 weeks. So I think Denny Hamlin's generally just a little bit faster car, so I got Denny Hamlin on that one.
Well, and you look at Tyler Reddick and Christopher Bell, it's the same odds for them. So it's even Vegas is like, I don't know. All right, let's get into my lineup. So I've kind of got a theme here a little bit. I was going to use Larson again this week, but let me save him probably for Phoenix. So I've got Tyler Reddick, Ty Gibbs, Christopher Bell, William Byron, Joey Logano. Why not Joey Logano? Just throw a Hail Mary and just try to go for a win now. And Chase Elliott's in my garage. So here's my feature matchups. They're a little bit different than yours. I have Kyle Larson over William Byron. I do have Christopher Bell over Tyler Reddick, and that's just flip a coin. Ryan Blaney over Martin Truex Jr. Truex just, I don't know what it is. It's like he has good runs, and then all of a sudden bad luck will happen. Or if he just has terrible runs, it's that. It's one or the other. He has a fast car, and something bad happens, or he just has a slow car. Denny Hamlin over Chase Elliott for me. I think this is, like you were saying, almost a must-win for these drivers. It's kind of up in the air right now. And I'm saving Denny in my regular lineup, probably for Martinsville, likely. All right, the hot pick, they have Denny Hamlin as one of the favorites for it. Kyle Larson's a hot pick, shocker. He's won at Miami before, has won stages there. He's led over 600 laps in his 7 Miami starts. That's good. That's not bad.
Yeah.
It says avoid Chris Buescher. So
yeah, of course I have him.
Well, their avoids are never on point. Chris Buescher's been pretty decent,
especially when we get the sleeper pick, which I do not agree with at all. But
Chase Briscoe's avoid, I'd avoid him. I wouldn't put anything on him. And yeah, AJ Allmendinger's a sleeper for the Cup Series. I don't know. I don't really know
exactly.
I mean, maybe just because he doesn't really have to worry about anything in Xfinity, and he can just
prove us wrong, AJ. I'd love to see you have a good run.
Yeah, and he could say, screw it, I'm just going to go all in for the Cup Series race this weekend. Doesn't have to worry about Xfinity. He can kind of be free with it, and maybe he has a good run with that. So, back to us. Well, now's the time. We've gone over what the track is probably going to show us. We were a little bit wrong with Vegas, how it was going to be exciting throughout the race with a lot of lead changes. Really wasn't. Christopher Bell dominated the race. I think there will be a dominating stat in this race that a leader will lead a lot of laps, but I think it will be competitive racing throughout the race in Homestead. So, all 3 series are here. All 3 series are racing the last 3 weeks of the season leading up to Phoenix. Trucks, Xfinity, Cup Series. I've got a theme this weekend for all 3 of my picks, so go ahead with your Truck Series pick.
So I got, I said trucks. I don't follow a whole lot, so it seems to be there's 3 or 4 guys that only have a shot at win. So this week I have Corey Heim taking the win.
I also have Corey Heim. He's probably the championship favorite. Yeah, I would say he's the championship favorite in that series.
I would think so.
Xfinity, who do you have?
So I was a little different on this one. This guy's been quiet for a while. I got Austin Hill.
Good track for him. I've got Chandler Smith to lock himself into Phoenix and win the race in Xfinity. And your final...
Going all Toyota here?
Yeah, if that's what you're picking up. Go ahead with the Cup Series pick at Homestead.
So... I do have one of the championship drivers going in advance the next round. I have William Byron picking up the win. Mom's pick is going to be a must-win to get in the next round. Mom has Tyler Reddick.
I have a little bit of a revenge race here. You already know that it's going to be a Toyota driver. Well, also the theme is the first letter of the first name of all of these drivers is C. I've got Christopher Bell winning this, locking himself into Phoenix. It's not a must-win for him, but I think after last week, he's pissed off. He's ready to go get a win and go after it this week. Christopher Bell to win at Homestead, lock into the Final Four at Phoenix.
Probably a smart pick.
Now he's probably going to wreck.
Sorry, Christopher.
The World of Outlaws is in their final 2 weeks of racing for the year. It seems like it's been so much racing, and it boils down to this. There's still a shot for Carson Macedo to win this championship.
Small shot.
Not much of a shot, but there's a shot. Mathematically, it can happen. Gravel's got to have a little bit of bad luck this week. He's got to have a little bit of bad luck next week. That's really what has to happen. Is it going to happen 2 weeks in a row? No. Gravel hasn't had really a bad luck
Even when he
race.
has bad luck, he doesn't have bad luck.
I don't think he has a single DNF. And the ones where he looks like he's going to be down and out, the crew somehow rebuilds a whole car in 5 minutes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's unreal.
That's championship. We've talked about his championship caliber team, and this is the first year he's raced without Brad Sweet. He's taken advantage of it and to try to get his first World of Outlaw title. They are at Riverside Speedway this week. High Limits raced here this year, and Outlaws haven't been here in a few years. They raced here last time when they were the Craftsman World of Outlaws Series. So it's been a little bit. Yeah, it's been a little bit. So talk about this track. It's a little smaller of a track than what we've seen last week.
Yeah, so this is Riverside International Speedway in West Memphis, Arkansas. It is the World of Outlaws Bull Ring Blitz. So hell yeah! So that gives you an idea what we got. So we got a quarter mile, high banked bull ring. So I love sprint cars on these little high bank tracks.
These have put on the best shows all year.
Because I mean, it is just you're in cars, in traffic all the time. You're not going to get out to a big lead. You're going to be in traffic, and they're going to come right back to you. So I know I say it every week. Lap traffic is the key.
It's really the key this week.
Yeah, these tracks and these small tracks, when you're by yourself, the fast way around is going to be the top. But everybody, all 24 to 26 cars, 8 cars, whatever they're going to have, many provisionals, they're all going to be on the top. Whether they get out of your way or not, that's when it gets exciting. So that's like when we talked about the last high limit race, Darren Pittman was leading, and the second place car actually had the advantage on the lap traffic. Do we see that this week? It's very possible. Now, these outlaw guys they will abuse any car that's in their way. They are just going to run over you, through you, whatever it takes to win, which is why they are the best in the business for sure.
And they have the funding for it, and there's a reason why they can run it that hard. You have
to
have
a
driver
that steer drivers. I mean, they are not going to back off for nobody.
You need to have a driver that's going to be up on the wheels this weekend for sure. You got 2 nights back to back, and then you head into the World Finals here in a couple weeks. They get 1 week off, and then it heads to the World Finals. So it's going to get exciting. And the World Finals traditionally not the best racing. There's usually one guy that dominates the race, but we'll talk about that then. I think you'll see a lot of competition this week. This is where you have to make up ground between Macedo and Gravel. That's what everybody's going to be looking at. They can never get apart from each other.
No.
It's kind of like how the Gravel and Brad Sweet thing was. So when one's right there with the other, but obviously, real quick, the last race, Macedo got to win the first night. Kofoid got to win second. I was right on the damn second night. I got that right. Finally been right on a pick, but
yeah,
Macedo.
Buddy Kofoid had some kind of engine issue and didn't actually even get the run the first, at least for the A main in the first night, because I had him picked for the first night. I'm like, where the hell is he? I'm looking.
Yeah, you jinxed him.
Like he didn't qualify, which is weird.
All right, well, 2 nights at Riverside. Night 1, night 2. Go with your picks.
So Friday night, championship point leader, been a little quiet. I got him winning Friday night and Saturday. And sorry about this to my wife, Sheldon Hodenshield winning Saturday night.
I think you officially said the driver for Friday, but David Gravel.
Oh, David Gravel?
Yeah,
David Gravel for Friday.
All right, well, one of these nights we're jinxing him because first night I have Sheldon Hodenshield. It's a track you have to be one guy.
Sheldon,
that does
you might
not
want to stay home this weekend, buddy.
You got to be a driver that's got to be ballsy enough to dive in on these bull rings. And he does, and sometimes he does a little bit too hard, which he's an exciting driver to watch.
Just like his dad.
Yeah, and that's why his dad was the wild child. And night 2, I've got the guy that has to make up ground in this championship. He has to get some wins. He has to. The only way to make up ground is to win now. That's the only way you can beat David Gravel, because you can't just rely on him just beating him second to third or something. You get the most, maximize your points. Try to be quick time, maximize points in heat races. I got Carson Macedo winning Saturday night.
He and Buddy Kofoid have probably been the 2 fastest cars in the last month and a half.
Little too late, though.
Not pick the same guys.
It's a little too late, but it might give you a little bit of a preview for next season if they can have this momentum ending the season. What you might see next year, you might see a 3 or 4 car battle for the championship throughout the year next year.
I hope to see more than 2 car battle. That'd make things way more exciting.
Yeah, lately
I'd like to see some back and forth throughout the year. Who's got the point lead?
Yeah,
pretty much Gravel had it. I think all year.
Gravel through July was just untouchable, really, and then he lost a little bit, but he was already so far ahead it didn't really matter. He'll be fine. Let me see what the actual point standings are so I can look at it. There we go. No, I don't want to buy anything. I just want to know the point standings. There we go. 78 points. It's been hanging around the 80-point mark for so long. So, Macedo has more top fives than him, but Gravel just doesn't not finish. So, it comes down to this. So, I think that does it for this week. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you share it. Follow anywhere you get your social media. We're going to work on something, possibly some guests in the upcoming, probably when the racing's all over, trying to get some guests on here. So if you know any guests, know anybody you want to reach out to, let us know too. And feel free to give them our social media information. And follow anywhere you get your podcasts. I think that does it for this week. We'll see you guys next week as we boil down to the final bit of racing.
Yep.